got Dillon. Dillon's ready to go. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday morning. Remember, you can watch us anytime on your Facebook feed. We go live between 8 and 9, InForum.com. For our YouTube channel as well, our InForum.com YouTube channel, and anywhere you find your favorite podcasts as well, InForum.com/podcasts. You'll find it there as well. So let's jump into, what we got going on. We're going to talk about what our breaking news was this morning, and you were covering it. But let's just start with the weather first, Dillon.
Yeah, it is warm out there, no doubt about that. Last week was cold, and this feels nice. Yesterday I was outside, and just this. I had, khakis on
Just
and
one
a
layer?
shirt. Yeah, weren't you up? it's nice outside.
I know.
You don't need to, it was a little breezy, but the
I
sun.
put the big coat in the closet and took out my light coat.
Yeah, don't put that big coat too far in the closet.
Okay.
Though. You still might need that.
Keep it within arm's length.
yes. But yeah, it's been nice out. It's nice out again this morning. Temperatures in the low to mid 20s. We're warming up to about freezing again today. A lot of sunshine, not as much wind, which is super exciting.
Yeah.
And it's been nice. This is what I like to call the first spring. Because we know this is like the first fake spring, and then we have the inevitable snowstorm. That, not saying there is one, but it always seems that there's something, or a cold snap or something, before we actually get to the real spring. And I showed that briefly early on this morning. So
I liked how you had on your graphic spring of deception.
spring of deception. That's the second.
Still to
spring.
come.
That's still to come. Don't worry. It is only February 7th.
And it
so
all culminates with road construction. So
that is the summer. So yeah, it's February 7th. We all know these 30s are not going to last forever. Even by the end of this week, we'll drop back down to the 20s, and then we'll probably have some mornings in the single digits. So it's nice to have it while we, get
take
into
it when we
February.
can get it.
Yes,
Exactly.
nice time to get outside, enjoy it. So other than that, we'll stay warm through today, tomorrow, Thursday. Things start to fall apart, light snow and wind. And that's kind of the start of the falling apart forecast as we go into Friday. Temperatures much cooler into the teens, and then 20s by the weekend. So, continue to watch that.
Cool.
And also, Lydia made a fantastic drawing this morning. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Very nice.
Hello, sunshine. Lydia, I'm showing off your drawing.
Oh,
She's blushing. It's a great drawing.
brightens everyone's day.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Second thing, we want to talk about
The breaking story from this morning on First News that we had you out on live. It was incredible. What
not
did
expected.
you see?
Oh yeah, so it was a water main break. There were two of them, two separate spots. One was, do you guys have the addresses exactly?
Well, the exact, we decided to say north of Junkyard Brewing.
go.
That was the area.
Yep.
And then south of MSUM Moorhead's campus.
There you go.
Like not too far, like a block or
Yes,
two. It's
yes.
a little bit easier. Yeah, we had the actual streets and we kind of struggled a little bit with
Yeah.
where exactly they were. but
Moorhead's
that's-
confusing. I learned that this morning. There are a lot of streets and avenues, north, south. It all matters.
But you know where Junkyard is and you know where MSUM
yes.
is.
Listen to that. Yeah. So, anyways, the streets are completely flooded. There's water, some spots 4 to 5 inches deep.
Wow.
And of course, water from the water main broke, covered the road, and this is partly the reason because of this big temperature swing I talked about. We had those cold temperatures last week, and now we have these warm temperatures this week. And what I'm guessing, or part of the problem why these mains broke, is because when we cool really cold really fast, which we did last week, the air molecules or the molecules in the ground kind of spread apart, and then we warm up, the molecules come closer together. Just like what happens in a balloon and whatnot, they move. And when they move a little bit in the ground, that can be enough, just a little bit, for water mains to shift enough where they break. And that is possibly the reason. Of course, I don't know, but I'm guessing that's why we saw 2 this morning. We've had this extended warm-up after that big cool down we had last week. So, yeah, that's a mess out there. Hopefully they get the crews to get those fixed up, but I know they're working on it and will continue to do so.
Pretty active scene, at least at the second one you were at this morning. They had a couple backhoes looked like.
Yeah,
crews out there.
So what they were doing is, I found out after I walked down there and kind of like looked a little closer. They were clearing out the drain, so all the water can drain somewhere. Because of course, in spring, we all know that we have snow piles as tall as me on the side of the road.
And that's tall.
Yes, and of course with that, the water can't drain, and so they were clearing the drains and trying to fix the problem.
Sure.
So yeah, continue to watch that through the day. I
All
think
right.
that's all I got.
We'll have updates on that throughout the day.
You bet.
Thank you for covering it for us this morning, Dillon. Appreciate it.
Okay, another story that we're tracking for you this morning. Right now, prosecutors say they are working to build a better case to convict a man who is a suspect in a Wahpeton murder. This comes after a murder charge against 33-year-old Anthony Kruger was dismissed. It was a big headline. Like, what's going on? Kruger was arrested in connection with the shooting death of Jeremiah Mainwald. Prosecutors are dismissing it without prejudice, which means they can file that charge again. Prosecutors say Kruger continues to be a person of interest in this murder, which happened January 16th, a story that WDAY covered for you. Happened near the Stern Sports Arena in Wahpeton. Court documents say Kruger and Mainwald were at the Hankinson Casino together, and when they got back to Wahpeton, authorities say Kruger shot at Mainwald 15 times. That murder charge has been dismissed, but he is still in jail this morning. Kruger is still facing some charges for drug and firearm possession. So we'll continue to track that story for you.
Yes. All right. Also, new this morning, Jamestown public school officials plan to investigate that racial taunting incident that happened at a recent basketball game. You'll recall it was one of those, it was between Jamestown and Bismarck. Now, the Jamestown Schools District Superintendent says some of the people that were already involved with this whole deal have already been disciplined. The incident happened last week. The team was playing against Bismarck. Like I said, some racial slurs were yelled out to the Bismarck students who were playing. And so the superintendent says following the game, he talked with the supervisors and coaches about the situation. He also reached out to Bismarck's coach to just get their side of the story to see if they had a different perspective. And then right now, the school's investigation is focused heavily on just finding out how the issue was handled during and after the game, and then it'll go from there.
This is a huge update. Right now, Grand Forks, some people in Grand Forks are celebrating the end of the Fufeng project. Others are focused on holding city leaders accountable. We told you this morning that the development agreement for that wet corn mill plant, well, it's done. They voted 7 to nothing. Done. Officially done, not moving forward. The city shut down the project due to security concerns. The council meeting, as so many times before last night, was packed with people once again. So we know the vote stopping the project, but the controversy is really not over yet.
No.
Some people at the mayor, very strong words at that meeting. Some are now asking that Mayor Bochensky and some of the city council members step down because of how this whole Fufeng project was handled. The city had financial protections in the development agreement to protect it from losing money if the deal fell apart, however. So they're just, people are still heated.
Yes.
So I feel like it's done, but it's not done.
Yeah, the saga continues, even though the main purpose has been kind of concluded. There's still lingering opinions and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what happens with that as it moves forward in that community. All right, today, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is going to be signing that clean energy bill into law. The bill aims for carbon-free electricity, and it also is going to provide jobs for Minnesotans. And so we kind of wanted to look into what does this mean for Minnesota electric providers. So we looked into that bill for you, so you don't have to do all that legwork. We found out that it would require electricity to be produced by renewable resources like wind and solar power by the year 2040 in Minnesota. And the state's largest electricity suppliers, being Xcel Energy and Minnesota Energy, have already pledged to go carbon-free. But the issue lies more with those rural electricity providers that think the bill could cause problems. They're saying that it would be costly to meet the mandate and also still maintain giving affordable and reliable power to customers. So we'll kind of see where that goes as far as how they implement it, but it is getting signed into law today by the governor.
Meanwhile, North Dakota lawmakers have started budgeting for a potentially expensive legal battle against their neighboring state. State legislators plan to fight the clean energy bill. The problem is that Minnesota is a major customer for North Dakota's coal. The bill has led North Dakota to look into taking that legal action against Minnesota, saying that losing the business of the state would hamper North Dakota's local energy sector. Several North Dakota lawmakers have already started shuffling around money to donate to the cause.
Yeah, so that's gonna be in the headlines for a while, I think. All right, let's see where else. Oh yeah, this story, kind of an interesting one over the weekend. It kind of started as like a fun story with this bear getting stuck in a culvert, and then it kind of divulged into more of a serious story that the bear was actually couldn't get out of this hole. So they had to get the DNR involved. But anyway, a bear is back in the wild now this morning after being stuck in the snow for several days in Roseau County. That bear was first spotted along Highway or County Road 8 over the weekend. And the DNR believes that the bear had dug a den in a deep culvert but the moving water from the recently melting snow actually woke the bear up, and then the bear was not able to get out of this essentially 5-foot snowdrift that it had burrowed into. And so then the experts of the DNR had to go remove the bear themselves. It actually only took them about 20 minutes, which isn't too long, but the bear had been there for several days stuck. Right. So they got that taken care of, and the bear was then taken to a wildlife management area and placed in a new den.
New details overnight on that Chinese spy balloon that was shot down by the U.S. military overnight. The surveillance balloon is revealing new information about China's spy program. Officials are telling us that 200-foot tall balloon had propellers and a rudder, along with a self-destruct capability that obviously we know at this point was not used. But U.S. officials are hopeful that the entire payload can be recovered, which includes the technology bay, and then they can kind of put together even more, maybe answer a few more questions as to what was being collected and why.
Almost like reverse engineer it to see what it was and what it had and all that kind of thing. So that story is not over yet either. We'll find out what is found out by the government. All right, on to this sad story out of Turkey and Syria, where they continue to search for survivors this morning following that 7.8 magnitude earthquake that absolutely rocked the region. Now countries around the world are also trying to do their part to help out. The U.S., Spain, Japan, among other countries are all sending search and rescue teams to both Turkey and Syria, along with supplies, as efforts continue to look for those who are still trapped in that rubble. And as of this morning, that death toll continues to rise, now at over 5,000 people, thousands more injured. And that death toll is probably, unfortunately, going to continue to go up as they clean up and move rubble and all that kind of thing. So we're going to continue to monitor that situation.
And today, President Joe Biden is putting the final touches on his State of the Union address. You can watch that on WDAY tonight at 8 o'clock. Of course, it's going to be one of the biggest speeches of his presidency, and it's set to be delivered before a joint session of Congress tonight. It comes amid a standoff, of course, between Republicans over raising the nation's debt ceiling. And this is also as we had new poll numbers this morning on WDAY showing a majority of Americans do not approve of the job that he's doing as president. So, of course, we'll have complete reaction tonight on WDAY News at 10, and of course tomorrow morning on First News as well.
And I believe is it Sarah Huckabee Sanders is going to deliver the Republican rebuttal to the State of the Union. So we'll have all that for you. Also, Hot Mic starts at 9 o'clock this morning, goes to 11. Dom Izzo is going to be talking about all of your latest sports headlines, which are the biggest story of the week, obviously, the Super Bowl. There'll be more Super Bowl talk. So plan on that, tuning in on WDAY Extra and InForum.com.
And remember to join us again for our evening newscast, our morning newscast. We still have one more, 11 a.m. And then 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. You can get all the very latest local news and weather, and also InForum.com anytime. The place to get your news, weather, sports, all that good stuff.
All right, and then tomorrow morning we'll be back 5 to 7 a.m. with First News. Until then, get outside, enjoy some of the nicer weather today, because we know it's not going to last forever this time of year.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.